Hi guys, welcome to a continuation of my look at bunny prize figures, this time from Furyu's impressive Bicute Bunnies figure line. As someone who ranks Kaguya-sama Love is War as one of the best romantic comedy animes to date, I was absolutely delighted to see Furyu add characters from the series into their Bicute Bunnies lineup. At the time this video was uploaded, Furyu had 3 Love is War characters in their lineup, that is Shinomiya Kaguya, Fujiwara Chika, and Hayasaka Ai. Today's video will be about Shinomiya Kaguya. As a collector who can neither afford nor justify getting premium painted 1/4 scale bunny figures that can sell for up to 90,000 yen or more in the aftermarket, I did a double take when I came across promotional photos of Kaguya in a white bunny costume similar to those in the box art here. Has Furyu managed to produce premium quality bunny prize figures at just a fraction of the price? Now I got this Furyu figure for about 2,600 yen versus a 1/4 scale equivalent by a company called Furyu, which retails for 28,600 yen or 11 times more. And that's just the Furyu figure's retail price, as I've seen it go up for more than 60,000 yen in the aftermarket due to its rarity. Anyway, let's unbox her now and see if this Kaguya bunny figure is going to meet all the hyperbolic hype I'm building up for her. But it looks like she's safely ensconced in lots of bubble wrap, which makes sense seeing that she has on fragile fishnet stockings as well as miscellaneous parts that might break if she was to move around a lot during transport. For example, the bunny ears, the strands of hair, the black and red ribbon on her hair, etc. Let me just cut open the bubble wrap so that you'll know what I mean. Kaguya looks like she comes in almost one complete piece, with the exception of her bunny ears and the base she stands on. Now that I've cut an opening in the bubble wrap, let's just remove all these separate pieces from the bubble wrapping, and then we can slowly start our close-up look of Shinomiya Kaguya in her white bunny costume. And that's Kaguya out of the bubble wrap, followed by her base, and finally we have the bunny ears, which are the only part that needs attaching to the Kaguya figurine per se. Now that we have all the pieces laid out on the work mat and ready for inspection, we are ready to get started with her once-over or a quick close-up and detailed inspection of the Shinomiya Kaguya figurine. Seeing Shinomiya Kaguya laid out here, I don't know if you can get a sense of how big she actually is, but trust me, she is huge for a prize figure. I'll put up the actual height measurement later on in this video. Furyu certainly outdid themselves in the likeness department. This figurine looks every bit like her anime counterpart, from her facial features and expression all the way to the hand-on-cheek pose. This resemblance is strengthened by an exceptional sculpt of a red hairband ribbon and bow tie ribbon at the neck. Essentially, sans the bunny ears from the collar upwards, you've been forgiven to think you're getting an accurate scale replica of Kaguya in a school uniform. Instead, you get Kaguya in a white bunny costume, which is in a beautiful glossy white with curve-hugging characteristics that accentuate Kaguya's slim and shapely body profile. While there wasn't any skin tone shading on her back, there was some pink shading on the crook and back of her elbows. Meanwhile, Kaguya's face was equally devoid of any shading, but her wonderfully rendered eyes more than makes up for it. As for her legs, you can't really tell if they have been shaded or not, but it doesn't really matter because both have been wrapped in white fishnet stockings. Quality-wise, the stockings look fantastic and realistic even at this scale. Both stockings then end up in a pair of gorgeous glossy dark red medium height heels. Kaguya's bunny ears come in the same finish as the rest of her costume, i.e. glossy white. One ear stands straight up while the other droops down. Meanwhile, her base is a simple white round plastic with gold-colored line design, as well as the Bicute Bunnies logo. Okay, so that's the once-over of the Shinomiya Kaguya bunny version figurine over and done with. Let us now put all the pieces together. As with most prize figures, there's little assembly to be done. After all, there is only 3 parts to her, namely Shinomiya Kaguya herself, the bunny ears, and the base. Let's start by attaching her bunny ears which looks simple enough. Maybe perhaps I spoke too soon. For the life of me, I can't seem to get that headband with the bunny ears to sit flush with Kaguya's hair. What is not communicated well visually here is what I'm actually struggling with. Instead of a satisfying click I expected when I tried attaching Kaguya's bunny ears, I had what is best described as a rubbery pushback, and the bunny ears headband could not fit into a gap slot that seems to be too small for it. Anyway, let's leave that be for the moment and get Kaguya onto her base first. There are 3 holes on the base, 2 for the pegs on her right foot and 1 for the sole peg on her left foot. The pegs are presumably made from the same plastic material as the figure. All I'm doing here is making sure the holes and pegs are properly aligned first before pushing the figure onto the base using the table for support. Now there you go. Kaguya is now firmly attached to the base. I'll just adjust her bunny ears one final time before we move on to a full 360-degree view of Shinomiya Kaguya, the bunny figure version. Standing at 28.5 centimeters tall as measured from the bottom of her feet to the tip of her upright bunny ear, this Furyu Bicute Bunnies figure of Shinomiya Kaguya is huge as prize figures go. Granted, it's not as large as the most premium bunny figure of Kaguya out in the market currently, that is Furiyu's 1/4 scale version that measures around 44 cm in height. It's a more than acceptable compromise, seeing that it's about 11 times cheaper. First off, her pose. It's one that if you are familiar with the Kaguya-sama Love is War anime, then you know it's just so her. One hand on the cheek, with the other behind her back, the elegant little smile, the way her legs cross just that little bit at the knees, that's Kaguya true and true. Just by looking at Kaguya's profile and her overall body lines and posture, I feel it encapsulates someone who is outwardly cold and rational and yet is kind and selfless at heart. That is, just how Kaguya should look like in a bunny costume. If I had to nitpick, is that her hips and legs seem ever so slightly larger, disproportionately so, than the upper half of her body. Furyu seems to have intentionally made her hips and thighs thicker to better fill out the bunny costume. But to be fair, I only noticed this when comparing it to photos of the 1/4 scale Furyu Kaguya bunny figure, which seems to have more slender and proportionate legs. That being said, I believe this figure already has an excellent profile and posture for its lower price point. Everything about the head and upper third section of Kaguya's bunny figure is just so right and well done. From the way the white glossy bunny ears are a mixture of being upright and droopy, to the way her hair is sculpted and tied up behind her head with that iconic red ribbon hairband with black stripes, not to mention the accurate likeness of her facial features, especially those red eyes, to her nonchalant smile and hand-to-cheek gesture, as well as the red ribbon around her white neck collar. All these little details screams out to the nth degree that this is Shinomiya Kaguya. Furyu absolutely nailed this figurine's looks in every way and more. You know for sure that it's Kaguya and all her charms in a bunny costume and not the other way around, which is a bunny figure that kind of looks like her. That to me is a huge difference in making this a quality premium figure. Most noticeable and critical feature of the body sculpt was the fact that Furyu went for the anime and manga accurate and somewhat flat-chested look. They did not embellish things to make her buxom and more well-endowed. That would have backfired and made her look like a parody figure. That being said, Furyu just couldn't resist making her hips slightly too large for her petite body shape. Luckily, Furyu didn't go overboard and is not as noticeable unless you go looking for it. Meanwhile, Kaguya's white glossy bunny costume looks fantastic, with every crease on the body hugging outfit accentuating a shapely body. It goes to show that you don't always have to make a busty figure for it to have sex appeal. It's also nice that Furyu added a well-defined and textured bunny tail at the back in matte white. While I did notice some more lines on her right forearm, thankfully it's almost invisible against her fair skin tone. As for Kaguya's long shapely legs, I can't really tell if any shading had been done on them, though I doubt there was. But that becomes irrelevant considering both legs are completely covered in actual white fishnet stockings. Her stockings look well made and of good decent quality. More importantly, they look aesthetically realistic even at this scale. Both stockings range all the way from her waist to her feet, which are wearing a pair of glossy dark red mid-heels. And the base, which we had seen close up earlier, is molded in white with gold line art, which works in a way to make these mid-heels stand out. While the base is pretty simplistic as prize figure bases tend to be, at least Furyu made it small, which suits Kaguya's pose and takes up less space on the display cabinet. Being a fan of Kaguya-sama Love His War, as well as bunny figures in general, I was thankful that Furyu really did wonders with this Shinomiya Kaguya figure, and not only met but exceeded my expectations for this bunny version. That this is technically only a prize figure bodes well for the figure collecting community. Quality-wise, in terms of the sculpture, finish of materials used, and the pre-painting, it is better than some more expensive mid-tier figures. Granted that bunny figures tend to have simple color schemes and not overly complicated poses, still, it's admirable that Furyu chose to do the simple things remarkably well and not fatten margins by keeping quality low. In terms of likeness, this figure is everything you would want from Shinomiya Kaguya in a bunny costume. And it's not only in terms of how her face looks, it's also the hairstyle, the dark red ribbon hairband as well as a ribbon bow at the neck collar, her slim petite body shape, and her signature hand-to-cheek pose. As quality of premium price figures continue to rise, it's easy to take bunny figures with actual fishnet stockings for granted. But I for one still appreciate the use of real stockings rather than just shading the exposed legs with paint. Other little details like the thin black bands around her upper arm, the stunning white bunny costume from a cute drooping bunny ear, as well as the white collar and wrist cuffs, to the nice detailed creases and beautiful gloss finish. I also like how Furyu adapted to Kaguya's predominantly white color scheme by giving her some glossy dark red mid-heels in line with the other reds in her color scheme. She also has good shelf presence, standing at 28.5 centimeters tall. But every figure has its own drawbacks, more so a price figure, premium or not. This one has two. Firstly, the bunny ears headband could not sit flush to her hair. And secondly, there are more lines running down both forearms, though it's somewhat mitigated by her fair skin tone. So it's time to rate this Furyu Bicute Bunnies figure of Shinomiya Kaguya from the Kaguya-sama Love His War anime. If you can't tell by now, I absolutely adore this bunny figure of Kaguya. While it still retains some shortcomings inherent in prize figures in general, it doesn't deter me from giving it a rating of Diamond or A rank. For me, this Kaguya bunny figure is a must-have and it deserves a place in any collector's display. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.